You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby. Have you been to a Loblaws lately? You got any of them Marvel trading cards?
Oh, yeah. Man, are they still doing that? I feel like they've been doing that for months now. What's the deal?
I feel like it's still there. It's something like every $25 you spend, you get cards, like a little pack that you can collect. They have like an old sticker book style thing. You can put them all in.
I get it, it's for kids, but they keep offering it to me, and I'm like, no, I don't want it.
I laugh every time I'm at the grocery store because I have kids. They like collectible things.
Yeah.
So I tell you, hey, all right, if I've already earned them, I don't have to pay any extra. Sure, throw them in the bag. I'll take them home. But every time I'm behind like a childless adult at the Loblaws, they're just like, what? No, I don't want that.
Circle K, I don't know if they were like Marvel, but they had the same thing. They had these stickers that they were like trying to give out. And like one day me and Courtney were in there and the guy's like, take them, please. I need to get rid of them.
They were like almost like little like badges. Eh? Yeah, I remember that because same thing. I went to the Circle K closer to my house. And the guy was like, you've been in here before. You have kids, right? I was like, oh, yeah. He's like, hey, he gave me like 15 of these things. And you know what? I brought them home, and the kids were all excited, and then they all went in the garbage because the kids lost interest.
Well, the kids' attention span's like
That's
that,
just it.
right?
Like, I just don't understand. Like, you know what would be cool? If every $25 I spent at Loblaws, you gave me $1.
Yeah.
Don't give me these junk cards that are going to collect dust in my house or my car or whatever. Give us things that we can actually use.
Like a mini little bottle of Bacardi or something.
I think if I spend $100 on groceries, it is not unreasonable for you to give me a little to-go shot. A little something for not for the road, but for when I get home while I'm unpacking all of it.
If I spend $200, you have to kiss my hand. Treat me like royalty. Make me feel good for once after buying groceries, you know?
If I spend $300, Galen himself will come give me a crisp handshake and thank me for paying his yacht payment.
Yeah. I want one of those. I want one of those special massages, you know, from. That's what I want. I want one of those places that you can't call in your insurance about from it.
It's crazy. All of a sudden, unemployment from grocery employees skyrockets.
I mean, to be too crass, people's been fucking us forever. It's about time for some payback.
It's about turning around, Galen.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know, the word soft gets tossed around with the upcoming generation of kids from time to time.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing more that the generation that raised these kids loves to do than tell them they suck.
Yeah. Wild story coming out of Korea. A teacher in Korea is actually being sued right now after recently asking a student to solve a problem on the chalkboard. Sorry,
I don't understand. Being sued... What was the problem?
So the parents are saying it was emotional abuse after...
Come on!
The teacher called the kid to the front of the classroom to solve a problem on the chalkboard, and the kid could not figure it out.
Sure.
And they say that it has stressed their child out so much that they were calling it emotional abuse for humiliating their child in front of the class.
Yo, wait till these parents find out about dodgeball in gym class. They're going to freak out.
Which, you know what? It's a ridiculous thing, and I don't think it'll stand in a court. But I will say, on behalf of that kid, I do kind of get where the kid's coming from a little bit.
I get the kid's not the one filing the lawsuit.
The parents suck.
If the kid was stressed out going to the board, you know what that makes him? Human.
Yeah.
We all hated that.
That was one of the worst moments as a kid, being called to the front of the classroom, and you're like, oh, God.
The only one that could match it for the level of intensity of, like, anxiety was reading aloud. If you were doing the, like, every person reads a paragraph up and down the desk.
You're trying to read ahead so you don't mess up.
You have no idea what the book is about because you were so focused on the paragraph you figured was going to be yours. And then if you missed it, like if you misfigured the math, now all of a sudden you're like, where are we? I don't know. I'm so sorry.
You don't want to get Billy Madison today, Junior. That's got to be one of the worst feelings in school. It's that, and then you ever just zone out in class and your teacher calls you out and asks you what the answer for something is?
Oh my God, all the time. Or like you'd get distracted, like you'd be looking at a book or you'd just be doodling or whatever. And then, time passes that you were unaware of. And all of a sudden the teacher thinks it's okay to just be like, oh, why don't you tell us a summary of the last 15 minutes of this class? And you're like, We both know that I can't.
They're doing it on purpose, too. Teachers,
Yeah.
I will say, teachers, I wouldn't call them bullies, but they know what they're doing sometimes, right?
Well, the idea is that if I call you out and I put you on the spot, it'll shame you into not doing that again. But,
Yeah.
I'm 13 at the time. I don't have the attention span for a full hour of history class.
I think one of the worst moments in school also has to be if you couldn't figure something out and you went up to your teacher's desk and you're like, hey, I have a question about this. And then they automatically pipe up to the rest of the class and they're like, all right, guys, so here's what's not to do.
When you get used as the example
Yeah.
for how things can go wrong,
Yeah.
you're just like, I was taking a really big risk coming up here, all right? Everybody in this class watched me get up and admit that I'm dumb right now and ask you for help, and you're making it worse.
Yeah. What's worse, that or calling the teacher mom?
Oh, I think if you call the teacher mom, you just can't come back.
Yeah.
Or if you have a male teacher calling the teacher dad.
Yeah.
That's just... It's awkward for the teacher. Maybe that's what makes it worse, is because it's just as bad for you because the whole class is never going to let you forget it.
People don't forget, yeah.
But also it's bad for the teacher because now they're also part of the butt of the joke as opposed to being sort of in the power position.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be your mom. They don't want to be your dad. That's weird.
Yeah, and that's something you can just never live down. All that other stuff, nobody cares except you.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things internally, and then everyone around you is going to just keep saying it to you.
Oh, dude, if you say that in sophomore year, you're going to hear about it in your graduation speech. Someone's going to bring up that you called the teacher mom.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What's the adult equivalent of calling your teacher mom? That's what we're talking about this morning. We've got friend of the show, Drew, on the phone. What do you think, dude?
Well, when let's say you go to a restaurant or something, you pick up your meal you're waiting for, and they look at you, you paid for it, they say, enjoy your meal, and you say, you too.
Oh, God, that's soul-crushing.
Yeah.
I feel like it only bugs you, but sometimes that stings even more.
Well, because I think the person at the restaurant has probably heard it so many times that they don't even notice it anymore. But for you,
Exactly.
it's the first time.
Yeah.
Or at least the first time in a while.
Yeah, you're thinking about it for the rest of the day, for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes the shame is even more brutal. You know what? You should be legally obligated to give them your meal and leave.
That's right, absolutely, with your head hanging.
It's almost the equivalent of thinking someone's waving at you and you wave back.
I had one of those the other day. I have been doing some TV shopping a little bit the last little while, and I thought someone was waving. And especially with what we do, sometimes people do that we don't know just wave at us, right? And I go, oh, hi. Just a whole family of people behind me, and I'm just I left. I literally was well, today is not the day I buy a new TV.
That feeling is worse than smoking. It'll take a year off your life.
100%, man.
Honestly.
It is the emotional scarring. It's so much worse than the physical.
It's that, or you ever think you're walking with someone that Courtney does it to me all the time, where we're walking and I think I'm talking to her, and then I look back and she's back 10, 15 feet and you're just talking to no one.
She saw something and peeled off and did not signal you, and you're just having a full-on conversation by yourself.
It's worse when there's actually a stranger beside you, because then they just think you're some psychopath.
That's right. That you rolled up and you're telling them all about what you're going to do with the rest of your day or something like that.
Yeah,
They're I don't know you, pal. What are you doing here?
Someone says the adult equivalent for me is the time I got into the wrong car.
Dude, I almost did that the other day. It's such a... Because especially, I feel cars these days are all very generic looking. They don't stand out. And there's a million, dark gray SUVs in any given parking lot. And you're just this is not the car I drive.
Yeah.
I'm mostly worried about... I've never done it getting into a car with another person. I've only ever made it to the door handle, and I'm just always worried someone's going to think I'm trying to steal their car.
What else do you think, right?
Luckily, it's enough of a shared experience that if you get caught, you can be oh my God, I thought this was my car, and they'll be I get it.
We got another text here at 762-555. It said, when you don't save people's numbers and they text you and you have to say, Hey, who is this kind of thing? Or even worse, it's the worst when someone does it to you, actually.
When someone texts back and is like, who is this? And it's someone that you're like...
You thought you were close with?
Close friendship, new relationship, someone from work, and you're just like, ow. What's that meme? Emotional damage.
That stings so bad.
Oh, this one's good from Bob. He says, sending a good morning, I love you, babe text to a wrong number.
Oh.
Sending it to your buddy at work instead of your wife.
Yeah. Even sending a hey, babe to your buddy instead of your girlfriend.
Yeah. That's why I say hey, babe to all of my friends. Just covers your bases. You can never be ashamed if it happened all the time.
Oh, someone just texted in, sending a reply all. Email at work.
You know what? No, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Some of you need more shame when it comes to your reply all emails. You're doing it too often, and there's no way I believe that you feel bad about it.
I think everyone should have this as an attachment.
Shame.
If you reply all, before it sends, your computer plays the shame bell, and it asks you, are you sure you want to inflict this upon your coworker?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I know you're a big aliens guy. I want to ask you a question. Do you think that when aliens do eventually come here and, make themselves known, because we've already been told they've been here and left, according to NASA or whatever, do you think that they'll be peaceful, or do you think they'll be violent?
I don't know. I've always wondered that, actually. That's something that I rack my brain about a lot.
Keeps you up at night sometimes.
Do they actually come in peace or not?
That's just it, right? We've made all the movies and stuff like that. Most times in the movies, the aliens are the bad guys.
They're not just on, a National Lampoon's Family Vacation or something. Yeah.
There was a study done over in the UK of a bunch of people, and about basically 10%. They were all asked, what would you do if aliens came to the planet? What's the first thing you would do? And only 10% of the people who responded said that they would, go to see them, welcome them to the planet.
I think it's probably higher than that. I mean, dude, just think about when anything happens, like a car crash, everyone's got their phone out automatically.
Oh, yeah. No, I think, people want to, to acknowledge that they're here, but I mean... 10% would go up and be like, welcome to Earth, it's really nice to meet you.
Yeah.
The other 90% responded with answers from I would try to seek out shelter, or I would try and go somewhere with a lot of weapons.
I think, to be honest, I'd probably be one of the people that would linger around just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm the one that's got first contact with the aliens, the first thing that I'm asking them, what's with the probing?
Is that the first question? I think you got to warm up to that. I think you can't just
hi, how's it going? Welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Earth. How was the flight?
Can I be honest with you for a second, man?
Right, exactly. I think you work
You warm up to it a little bit.
Are you the ones that have been coming here and putting the things in our things?
I just want to know, is it just a rumor? What's the deal with that? Was it one guy that ruined it for you guys? One guy that was a real curious Sam?
One really weird alien, and they're like, oh, God, it's just Terry was doing his own thing. We're really sorry about that.
Did you find anything?
That's
Is
the
there
other
something
question.
that you know that we don't know?
What was up there that bore further investigation?
Because, if they have a reason for it and they're like, hey, it's this, this, and this, then, hey, I'll bend over and touch my toes if that's what you need. But maybe it's just one of those, Marilyn Manson-type rumors that got spread around Earth that we've just been talking about, and they're like, we don't care what's in your ass.
Yeah. One alien probed one farmer, and all of a sudden it's just this fully widespread myth, and they hate it as much as we do.
Yeah.
It's we're really tired of the butt talk.
There's so many questions that you could ask them about space and time and the universe and all this stuff, but let's, no pun intended, let's nip that one in the butt real quick.
Yeah, we got to get to that, because imagine, people always talk about, if aliens were to come to Earth, that would mean that they have perfected interstellar travel, which we have not yet, right? Otherwise, we'd be on Mars and stuff.
They're most definitely not flying Air Canada, that's for sure. Yeah.
They are far more advanced. If they get here, they are far more advanced technologically than we are. And people always go, imagine what kind of technology they could give us. Imagine the health advances if they just showed us the results of what was in our butts all this time.
Yeah. I think the other thing, actually thinking about it now, I'd ask is is this a vacation? Like, is this a work thing?
Right. What
Like,
brought you here?
Yeah.
Are you in the neighborhood? Is this the human equivalent of like a trip to the Grand Canyon?
Because this place sucks, dude.
What's that scene from The Simpsons? Like, that's it, back to Winnipeg. Except it's like, that's it, back to Alpha Centauri.
Yeah, like I feel like of all places you chose to come here.
There's just nothing else out there.
Yeah,
It's them and it's us, and apparently there's nothing in between, or they would have gone there.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got this call from someone.
I tell them to go see the neighbor. Off my grass.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know what technology is in those UFOs, but I have to assume it's not going to be good for the lawn.
Well, exactly. If they have crop circles, I don't want none of that in my yard.
Well, and then your yard's just going to turn into a tourist trap. People are going to show up in their dirty old RVs to come see your lawn circle.
Go play with the neighbors. They do that kind of weird stuff.
Just send them off to the neighbors is my favorite idea.
I just love the idea, right? The UFO, it lands in your yard, the big ramp comes down, it's looking like a scene out of Mars Attacks. They make contact with you, somehow speak to you like, hey, we come in peace, we'd like to meet you, and go next door. I didn't ask for you to come here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Treat them like they're like Jehovah's Witnesses or something knocking on your door. Like,
Ain't nobody home.
yeah.
Also, can we talk about, when asked, what you would do if you were the person to make first contact with aliens? How many people texted in to say that they would offer them weed?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you want to see if they're really out of this world or not, right?
Yo, you guys party or what?
Yeah. I feel like you got to be careful on the whole party aspect because, I mean, if it was just any stranger, like, would you offer someone a joint or a beer? You
That's
know, you got
just
to
it.
keep that in mind, right?
If someone lands on my lawn or drives up to my driveway, the first question I'm asking them is not, do you want to get messed up with me?
Yeah.
I got some questions before we get to handing it out. Not to mention, who's to say they don't have better stuff?
I think Steve had the best answer at 762-555 when he just said, I just want to know, like, what humans are actually aliens. And I know we've talked about this before, but it's like, what are the celebrities? Are the government officials? You know, all that kind of junk, right?
Right, let's get down to some of the mysteries. You'd mentioned it earlier, like, hey, let's find out what were you doing with all the probing. You got a list of the aliens that have already been here that maybe we would know that were in the public eye. Justice texted in and said, you guys build the pyramids, or was that us? Like, let's ask some of the real questions that we've been debating for years.
Yeah.
Find out, get to the bottom of some of these conspiracies. Do they know if birds are real? We need to find out the answers. You've been studying us. Can you confirm or deny?
Are we screwed?
Yeah, well, that's another one, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's, you asked the question earlier, like, why Earth? Of all places, why did you come here? What if it's because they know that, like, there's a meteor or something heading towards our planet? Like,
Yeah.
better go check out Earth before it's gone, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Is this our last hurrah?
That's right. We are on the endangered list. We're about to go extinct, and the aliens are coming to visit us like an intergalactic zoo.
Yeah. And then once you get that answer, then you can smoke a joint and been like, you ever heard of Leonard Skinner before?
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Is it real? Is it fake? Do we even care? Let's find out.
If you recognize this music, college football game day music, baby.
Woo!
Got another NCAA football season starting, and as always, as we do every year, we're going to do a real or fake of some of the best names in college football.
There's just, because there's like 942 college football teams across America with massive rosters. We get some of the greatest athlete names come through this sport.
Oh my gosh, and some of the names this year are just fantastic. So as always, it is up to you to decipher if they are real or fake. Are you ready to get going here?
Yes, sir.
Starting a defensive back from Central Arkansas. We've got Dude Person.
Dude Person?
Is that real or fake college football player?
I'm going to say that's real.
That is real.
What an amazing name.
Dude Person is his name. It's like a creative player, but you hit start too fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I've been drunk and called people Dude Person before.
Parents honestly deserve jail time for that one. All right, coming up next here, we've got Truck Stall. He's a linebacker from the University of Oklahoma.
Truck Stall?
Truck Stall. Stall spelled like Eric Stahl.
Oh, Staal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Real or fake?
Little Euro name. Maybe they didn't realize the pun they had created. I am going to say real. Oh!
That one is fake.
That's a really good one.
That one is
though.
fake.
That was too perfect.
From the University of Las Vegas, we got an outside lineman by the name of Tiger Shanks.
It should have gone into golf. Damn it. Tiger Shanks, let's say that's fake. Really?
No, that's a real offensive lineman. Which, you know what? I hope he's really not on the line for special teams. Because that could really get in a kicker's head if you saw that.
Imagine you're standing back there, you're trying to concentrate on the task at hand. You just keep Shanks.
All right, next here, we've got a tight end from Florida International University, Rocky Beers.
Rocky Beers?
Is that real or fake?
Damn. What position again?
Tight end.
I want to say that's real. I want it to be real.
That's real.
Yeah, Rocky Beers.
Also, keep in mind, Florida International University, the same university that's going to have Pitbull Stadium this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Rocky Beers at Pitbull International Stadium.
Don't
it's
stop
a match
the party,
made in
man.
heaven.
All right, two more here. Next, we've got a cornerback from the University of Buffalo, Djibouti Holes.
Okay, I am fairly certain that I have heard Djibouti as a name for an athlete before.
Yeah.
I am struggling to remember if it was Djibouti Holes.
Real or fake? What do you think?
That's got to be fake. Someone would have said something.
Yeah, that one's fake. All right, final one here.
A nurse or somebody would be like, are you sure you want to do this?
Last one here. We've got a linebacker from Duke University. Memorable Factor.
His name is Memorable Factor.
His name is Memorable Factor. Spelled how you think it is.
I have complained on this show and in life many times that we are just using too many words as names, but memorable is too far. Too far, I say fake. What?
Yeah, Memorable Factor is the kid's name.
No.
That's a tough name to give your kid, man. Like, your kid's got a lot to live up to.
Memorable was forgettable on the field today. First headline that he has a bad game.
Yeah, if you you can't have a bad game with a name like that.
Not
honestly.
if your name is Memorable Factor.
Yeah.
Oh, no one was thinking about Memorable Factor after the game today.
I really hope if this kid goes far enough to go to the NFL draft that he does get drafted. That's soul-crushing to be Memorable Factor and be left hanging like that.
The only bummer is that his jersey would say Factor and not Memorable.
You have to be first string or nothing.
100%.
You can't be a third string bench player.
You can't be on the practice roster if your name is Memorable Factor.
And if he makes a mistake, it's going to be a Memorable Factor too.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Very tough to pick the list for real or fake today because it's for this year for college football, it's just endless amounts of ridiculous names. I mean, there's a wide receiver named Fat Watts.
Fat Watts?
Fat with a PH, of course.
Oh, sick. Even better.
If you like that, how about Prince Williams at San Diego State?
At least it's Prince Williams.
Yeah.
And not just Prince William.
Legend Journey?
You can't go into sports named Legend Journey.
University of California, Legend Journey, man.
That's so much pressure on you as an athlete to be the best.
I think we talked about this guy last year, but Pig Cage at Louisiana Tech.
I remember Pig Cage, yeah.
There's Mobility.
Come on.
MOH. And then Billity is the last name.
First of all, Billity as a last name is crazy.
Yeah.
To name your kid Mo after knowing his surname is going to be Billity. Wow.
I just don't think some parents think about like what their kids have to go through at school sometimes, you know?
That's just it, man. I've had two kids. Both times when we were picking out names, you got to say them out loud. You got to say the full name. You got to think about nicknames.
Well,
you got to think about shortened versions.
As a football player, I mean, if this kid gets knocked out, mobility is the worst name to have.
Right. Oh, my God. Mobility being carried off on a board today.
LSU has a guy named Major Burns as well.
Tell me he's got facial hair.
There's a guy playing for Charlotte that's Mon Clowney.
Mon Clowney? I wonder if isn't there like a Jadavian Clowney in the league already?
Yeah.
I wonder if they're related.
And then honestly, one of my favorites is there's a guy named Thunder Keck that plays at Stanford.
Thunder Keck is a sick name.
Not a kicker, though.
No. Well, what is his position?
Defensive lineman.
I mean, hey, he can bring the thunder.
Bring the thunder, yeah, that is true.
Thunder on the blitz?
Naming your kid after, like, weather is actually kind of a sick move, to be honest.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But, I mean, not all weather. Like, cloudy would be like a bummer name.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people name their kid Rain. Autumn is a thing. Summer, sunny, all that kind of. But I think, like, if you go more into, like...
Storms.
Like, you're like, my kid's name is Kane, short form for hurricane.
Yeah, even just Hurricane would be an amazing name to give your kid.
If you met a guy named Hurricane, he's probably going to be, like, huge, right?
If
like,
I meet a person named Hurricane, I am 100% fully assuming they have seen some things.
Name my kid Tex, short form for vortex.
Psy for cyclone?
Yeah. This is my kid Blizz.
Blizz sucks as a name. You are good.
Your kid's going to be an absolute tool. Your kid's a guaranteed tool.
Bullied so hard if your name is Blizz.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
On the show a few times we have been asked to help people come up with names for their pets because there's one thing we're really good at. It's puns and stuff like that.
We've done chickens, we've done cows, we've done dogs. Yeah.
Somebody sent this in, a friend of the show, Jamal, sent this in and said that he saw this story. The Detroit Zoo apparently got a new gorilla.
Okay.
And they're putting it out. It's one of those classic online things of like, what should we name the new? And I think they have some listed, but I believe there is an other option.
I think the only option you can do, and it's to pay respects, you got to name it Harambe. I don't know how any zoo hasn't done that yet.
See, but I think Harambe is too on the nose. There's too much stigma that comes along with it, but I think if you tweak it a little bit, like maybe call him like Haram Bon Jovi or something like that.
Haram Bon Jovi?
You know, just like you pay tribute to the original, but with a modern twist on it.
Yeah.
Come up with something a little different.
I was going to say, I mean, there's like, obviously, there's Kong, there's Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
To maybe not use Diddy Kong. I don't think Diddy is a good name to use right now.
Diddy's out right now. You don't want to touch Diddy.
That one's ruled out for sure.
You could do Kong Petty.
Kong Petty. Yeah. What's that cereal that they sell at like Farm Boy? Gorilla Munch. You could just call him Munch.
Just Munch.
You know that cereal that's got the little baby gorilla on it?
Yeah. The one that looks like you'd never actually buy it, but it's there. It's healthy.
Oh, Feel Good.
Feel Good.
You name him Feel Good.
For the gorillas?
For Feel Good Inc.
Well, I mean, at that point, just go with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
That would be a great gorilla
What's
name.
the guy's name that does the gorillas in Blur? Is it Damon?
Damon Albarn or something like that? Yeah.
Damon works pretty good, actually.
Damon would be good. You know what would be a great name for a gorilla? Business.
Business?
Yeah, short for monkey business.
No.
You could call it Big Business.
Oh, you know what? I got it. The best name that you could give this gorilla is Glue.
Gorilla Glue. That took me longer.
It's the first thing that comes to mind when I hear gorilla. I think of Glue.
That took me way longer than I'm happy to admit.
That's it. That's the one.
I don't know, though. I feel like there's already enough horses named Glue that maybe the crossover's too much.
If you don't want to name it Glue, find out who that idiot was, that girl that put the gorilla glue in her hair a couple years ago and went viral. Name it after her. Yeah.
It'll be an everlasting tribute. She'd love that.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Top of the morning to you. Today's word is age last. Yeah, age last. Agelast. Age last. Anyways, it's someone who never laughs. Who does that? That's someone that needs a life. Anyways, have a great one. Cheers her up.
I had to look it up because I don't know if that's how it's actually
I don't
pronounced.
think it is.
Let me see. This is what Merriam-Webster says.
Agilast.
Age-Last sounds like some sort of cream that ladies put on their skin to try and prevent wrinkles or something.
Yeah. You put it under your eyes and the bags just disappear. Yeah. Whereas Agilist is that one guy on the job, like whether it's in your office or on the site, that has been there way too long.
Oh, dude, if you're an Agilast, you're a psychopath. Like, if you cannot laugh.
Yeah, you have gone through some things that have left you a husk.
I will say there's probably some people that listen to our show that maybe are a little Agilast.
They're temporarily agilastic.
I get it.
From 5:30 to 9.
I get it. Hey, maybe you've had a meeting with HR when you told a joke that they didn't find funny.
Oh.
That's an Agilast.
We definitely have some people in HR at this company that are agilastic.
Yeah. If you find an HR person that isn't Agilastic, you know what? A round of applause for all the cool HR people out there.
Yeah. All the ones out there that understand what a joke is.
Agilast? Am I saying it right now?
Agilism. I don't know. Agilast.
I'll let him say it 3 times.
Agilast.
All right, use it wherever you can today, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.